Good morning and welcome to day 33 of 90 days of creating the more sparkled up version of our lives, meaning more aligned version of our life, more fulfilled lives, more intentional life. And yeah, you can add also your own adjective of how you want to sparkle up your life. And today I want to talk with you about the topic that sometimes goes actually against sparkled up life. Because you see, I talked with you about having big dreams and wanting a big life. But then on some days, I just feel like my life would be so much easier, so much simpler if I would simply be satisfied with less. If I would simply not have these big dreams, because then I could be satisfied with having a job that is safe, but it's not really challenging. Something that fulfills me, but does not really put all of my skills to the test. I tell myself that maybe it would be easier for me and my life would be simpler if I would stay in the country where I was born, when I knew all of the systems, and why did I have to move to a different country and upset everything in my life? Why did I have to do this to myself? Sometimes I ask myself. Because you see, constantly challenging yourself and constantly moving yourself into new environments means also constantly facing uncertainty, constantly facing change, and constantly facing something what many other people actually don't face. Because you see, once you start questioning how you're living your life, you don't start questioning only your life, but you start questioning the way how other people around you live the life. And you have less in common with everyone else who is living their life in a typical way. You wanting that sparkled up version of your life means also that you will do things in ways that will make you different, that will make you stand out, that will put a challenge not only to your own life, but actually to the lives of people that are around you. And other people will not necessarily either understand what you're trying to do, or if they will understand it, what you're trying to do, they might not agree with what you're trying to achieve or how you're trying to do. I've heard this so often in my life, but wouldn't you be happier if you would just, be satisfied with getting married, getting a job, getting a house, like following a traditional path? Because also small life is good life. Or so many times people told me, yeah, but I mean, eventually you'll have to slow down, eventually you'll have to settle down and live a normal life. And you see, on the days like today, I do ask myself if I'm making my life more complicated than necessary. If maybe I am reaching for something that it's not necessarily contributing to my happiness. But then at the same time, I also know myself, and I know that in me there's this desire, this burning wish to move forward, to try out new things, to explore new places. And even if I would have that picture perfect life that everyone is trying to sell me in terms of this traditional, this settled up version of myself, I don't think I would be happy in that life for a long period of time. It would be nice for a month, 2, 3 months, maybe even a year. But I think eventually my curiosity, my questioning of life, my desire to explore and to learn would come to the forefront. And I would start being unsure into the life that I would be living. Because you see, I've been trying to put myself into that box here and there. Because on days like today, when I'm having this thought, sometimes I just try to put myself into that different environment. And spoiler alert, it never truly worked out. It never worked out exactly as I imagined, because that life brings its challenges with it. And when you have challenges, well, you have also some advantages on the other side. So at the end, you cannot have one thing without the other. You cannot have just the upside without the downsides. And that's true for that amazing traditional life that some people desire and are happy with. And that's also true for unusual, unexpected, surprising life that some of us wants to live as well. At the end, you simply need to decide what are the downsides and what is the upside that you are willing to live with, and then simply go forward with it. Which, by the way, does not mean that you don't challenge, or that from time to time you don't have doubt. And if I learned something in the last 10 years of my intensive work on myself, of my intensive personal development, it has been that at the end, it's your choice. And having doubt is a normal thing. It's something that happens irregardless of what you're doing. Every single client I work with has doubt sooner rather than later on their path. And that's also true from my own experience. Sooner rather than later, something happens and you start questioning yourself and doubting yourself, or even failing at some things. It's truly the most normal thing that can happen. But what truly defines that sparkled up version of your life, it's how you react to that doubt. Do you learn from it? Do you use that doubt and that questioning that you're having, and do you then use this in order to ask yourself, wait, am I still aligned with what I want my life to look like? Is the doubt coming from my fears? Or is the doubt actually coming from my uncertainty or my misalignment with the life that I want to live versus the life that I'm living? Because if it's the first, if it's the fear, you act with that in mind, with conviction. You figure out the simplest, easiest, minimum way of moving forward still. But if it's the second, so it's the uncertainty and misalignment, then it's time for you to start redirecting yourself. And redirection is very different from rejection. Redirection is very different from resistance. So today, I want to ask you, and what I want to see you think about those topics in your life. Where are for you doubts showing up? What kind of concern you might have? And are those concerns and doubts coming from fear, or are they coming from the need for realignment and for redirection? That's definitely something what I don't have the answer right now for you, what my answer to that is. But it's a thought experiment that I am definitely willing to explore more in today's day. And yeah, that's it for today. And I'm very much looking forward to talking with you tomorrow, hopefully with my own answers found to the question that I just asked you. And hopefully you also get some clarity and answers on the doubts that you're feeling right now in your life. Bye.